Majic 102.1. It's the Madd Hatta Show. I'm new and fresh, and as I told y'all all week long, I'm going to have co-hosts coming in and out. This young lady that I'm presenting to you guys today, back a long time ago, she had her first album. Ms. James, you, 7 albums in now?
Actually, I think it's 8, 9.
Oops. Back, she had this song called Good Time. I used to love this song and was not supposed to be playing it on Majic 102 because y'all know I was doing both at the time. Well, some of y'all probably don't know that, but I was. And used to play that song because I love this so much, and obviously the sample is another R&B classic.
Yeah.
But when I said if I start this week, you know what? I would really like to get in front of Leela James. And shout out to Miss Lemon, she made it happen, so I appreciate that. But this is like a dream come true, so I'm feeling good right now. Really, if anybody else don't show up, I'm pretty good. I got what I wanted. This is a good start to the week. So thank you for just taking the time. I appreciate that so much. I don't even know where to start with you. So we're going to go back. I'm going to go back to actually H-Town. And probably many people don't know this. I don't want y'all looking for Leela James in H-Town. But she lives here and she's been here for such a long time. I'm just curious because you're from the West Coast. You're from LA, if I'm not mistaken. What made you say, you know what? I'm comfortable calling Houston, Texas home. And a lot of people don't probably even know that. So you're like, you put me on blast. But I just think it's so interesting when people move to this city. What is it about this city that draws you in?
Yeah, well, I'm definitely born and raised in South Central LA, but my family is originally from Texas.
Oh, so you didn't know.
Yeah, that's it.
She said it's plain and simple. But something made you say, I'm going, you come back.
Well, the cost of
most
living.
times, listen, most times when entertainers have a huge career like yours, unless they're on like a ball team or something like that, maybe not living here.
I'm not like most.
True that.
And I'm very simple in that I like a simple life.
Okay.
And I grew up in LA, so
you know what that life is.
I know what that life. And after I left LA and I lived in New York for several years, and so I wanted to have something that was a little more even keel, and I was still able to work and kind of move around without all the
glitz and glamour of the industry.
Yeah. So I can dip in and dip out when I need to, but it's really cool just to be able to lay low, and I've been able to do that up until you putting me on blast.
My part, don't be looking for Miss James.
Yeah.
All right, so just don't do that. I love the idea that you hear though, and your career. I'm just curious where it all started. When did you find out that you had this voice? The funny thing about singers these days is that I cannot detect whom is who. And we won't get into that conversation, but I think many of us know that we don't know who this is because they sound similar. When I hear you on the record, I'm like, I ain't even know Leela had a new one out. Okay, that's what we doing. Where did all this come from? Did it start in the church? Some people just have it?
It was a combination. I definitely started in church. I was telling my daughter earlier, my mom had me in church like a couple times a week. We was every Sunday and then Bible study during the week. So vacation Bible school in the summertime. So I definitely got my roots and my foundation in church. But I also believe that it's just something that's in you because it wasn't, even though I sang in church, it wasn't even something that I thought about. It all came natural. I was like, everybody sing in church. Like, we all do it. So
you didn't realize that maybe your voice was different than some of the, really?
Not until I got a little older and I was, performing in various talent shows and showcases in high school or whatever. And then it was like people's reaction to my way. I'm like, what's wrong with y'all? They oh my Lord. I'm like, and yeah, so then you discover like, yeah, it's a little different, And so I think around that time is also when it hit me to like want to pursue it professionally. And it's just been a long journey and a ride ever since.
When did somebody, who was responsible, or how did that transition happen from, because usually if you're in church it stays in church. And then if you transition to regular or R&B, you know, you got to have that conversation with your folks that you're making that transition. And that transition can be
It can be no, you know what? Because I was, again, always singing, and I listened to all kinds of music growing up. My English teacher in high school was kind of pushed me because
Really?
I was just like trying to rap, and I would write
Hold
poetry.
up, Leela James was going to be a rapper?
Oh, yeah. Oh, please.
What was your rap name?
Oh, Melody.
Okay.
But I think it was because I was acting up in the classroom, you know, trying to beatbox and trying to rap, you know, being a class clown. This particular day, and my English teacher said, you know, I'm going to need you to stay after class. I'm like, oh, Lord, I'm in trouble. Come to find out, he actually had his own studio and was a producer on the side from just teaching. And he was like, have you thought about putting some of your poems and your rhymes in the form of a song? I'm just like, or in recording, have you been in a professional studio? And I hadn't done that. And so that was my introduction to the professional side of making music. And once I heard my voice in that element, you know, with music behind it in a professional mixed and speaker, it was like, what? And it just sounds so nice. And then it was like, yeah, you could do this and make money. I'm like, okay, sign me up. You know what I'm saying?
I can dig it.
Yeah.
And she's in the studio right now telling us this wonderful story of how she was originally a beatboxer.
Oh, my God.
MC. And at some point, this story has to transition into somebody saying, hey, girl, come on now.
Yeah.
What about this singing thing? And you obviously you sing in a church. You know you have a voice. Who is the person, or what was the moment where somebody said, have you thought about singing as opposed to doing your poetry?
It was definitely my English teacher.
Still an English teacher. He's okay.
I would say it was my English teacher, and it was several other people, you know, reactions. But I think what stood out the most is just being in that professional environment and seeing the results of what it could be if you really pursued it in that manner in terms of trying to have a career, you know, the business side. Because up until then, it was just like doing it for fun and singing in church. And everybody's like, you really can sing and you should do this and you should do that. But it took someone that was working on the in the business, so to speak, and on the professional side of showing me like you can actually have a career doing it, not just do it for fun and, you know, get a few, you know, claps here and there. Of course, you get that, but like you can really actually make a living doing this. People do that.
What's the actual time where we switch up and we start really going professional? And how long is this process after we start recording in the studio and learning that we do got the chops to do this? How long is that move to, oh, I'm a professional doing this?
I would say my senior year, that summer, going into leaving high school, going into college, making the decision that I wanted to get a record deal. And it was like, do I go to college or do I pursue trying to get a record deal? So I was like, I'm going to do both.
Okay.
Because at that time, I wanted to make my mother proud and that.
Do what mama says to do.
Yeah, well, it wasn't just that. It was something that I felt like I wanted to also do for myself. Because at that time in South Central LA, where I was coming from, it wasn't a whole lot of that happening. But we were actually going to college. And so I got accepted to a few different colleges. And it was like we was trying to get up out of the hood, per se. But at the same time, I knew I needed to be in LA to pursue my dream. So I made the decision to stay kind of locally and go to college there. But I was like, I would do my classes in the morning, then hit the studios at night, making demos and sneak up to record companies and try to break into Paramount and put the tape under the door and all that. Just, you know, find out who was the president at the time. And then eventually what happened was I got like a demo deal. You know, you get word of mouth when you're from just performing on the scene,
right.
Whether it was we had a place out there back in the day, it was called a gig. We do shows at the gig or at the Roxy, or just like you just trying to get the exposure. And so word of mouth kind of got out, and kind of the rest is history.
Was it overnight success for you?
Heck no. It still ain't overnight. I'm still grinding.
As successful, that's beautiful. that you feel like you still trying to get out there after all the success that you've had?
It's always a grind because I feel like as an artist, you're always trying to evolve. At least
Yes.
I am. And so you can't remain the same. Time doesn't remain the same. What I was doing in 2005 might have worked in 2005.
I can dig it.
But this is 2024. So it's like we got to change up, and still pursuing. So, and I'm happy to still be relevant. I'm happy to still be able to do what it is that I do. But in doing so, you have to kind of make adjustments and continue to grow. So, yeah, it's always a grind. It never stops.
When you first got signed, though, although to me that 2005 album, excuse me, great album, it didn't. So I dig what you're saying about your grind. At any moment, were you? I don't know if this is really gonna pop off the way that I think it's going.
Always. I do that to this day.
Do you? I have a hard time believing that.
You always. I mean, okay, let me just speak for myself.
Yes, ma'am.
But I think as an artist, you always feel like every day you're like even this morning was one of those days. I'm like, I don't know. I'm tired. Like you
Yeah.
because it's a never ending grind. It's a never ending grind, and I not only do this, I'm also a mother.
Absolutely.
And so it's the
I see you,
balance.
young player.
It's the balance for me of everything that I do, the multiple hats that I wear, and I'm a single mother. And so it's like, juggling this and juggling that, and then also showing up for myself and as an artist and doing those things. It can sometimes be a challenge and taxing. So you go through moments where you're like, do I still want to do this? And then it's like, if you base your, which I don't, but if you base your success on certain industry facades and accolades, then you'll be like, no. Look what just happened at the Grammys. You got people, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I got 9 albums, no Grammys. So if you could take that and if that's your motivation, like, I'm going to throw up in the towel because I ain't got no Grammys. But that ain't my motivation.
Yes, ma'am.
You understand? I make music because I love to make music, number one, but I also love how it makes people feel, and I do it for the people. And it's been successful for me in that sense. But if you're, if you basing it on other things, you can easily get discouraged as an artist. So, yeah, I think you often sometimes go through phases. And I would say I'm sure most artists have at least had a moment in their career where they said, I don't know if I'm going to do this or keep doing this. And it's natural. It's a human. We all human.
Yeah, but you've been pumping out these #1 songs lately, so I don't know how you feel that way, but okay, I understand.
No, I know
humans.
because it's because I just think you're always trying to outdo yourself.
No,
as
I
an
get
artist.
it. I'm messing with you, but you're
I
right.
always say I'm not in competition with anybody else because can't nobody do what I do, and I don't want to do what nobody else do. But I always am in competition with myself.
Absolutely.
And so I'm just like, that was cool, but okay, I got to do better than that. And so you can feel like, sometimes.
All right. Can I call music a classic and we get into it?
Absolutely. That was the first one.
I'm curious, does Leela James have a favorite Leela James album? Does she have a favorite? And it doesn't have to even be one of your albums or one of your songs, but I'm just curious. No, it has to be your favorite album, your favorite song, and then somebody else's favorite. One of your favorite artists, maybe what song of theirs do you just really, really love? But first, of all your albums, the one where you like, yeah, I was in the zone on this record right here.
I like my current album. I like my current album.
Why? Give me some reasons. What is it about?
Because it's just
what
grown. It's grown. It's grown. It's just very. It's. I feel like I am of a certain age now in maturity, and it feels like that. It feels like a red cup shag rug. It feels like life lifed a little bit, and so I sang about it.
Are you writing songs mimicking what's going on in Leela James' life? Or like these songs just appeal to my soul at that particular time, and
Both.
so that's what I'm rolling. Okay,
Yeah.
All right. So could it be a little autobiographical, some of the songs in there of growth?
Yep.
Okay, I can dig that. I can dig that. I know we tight on time.
Yeah.
But I want to run through. I call them these King questions because I stole them from Larry King. But I liked it. And I said when I do afternoons, I'm gonna go with some of these questions. I like it, so I'm gonna hit you with these questions. First, favorite color?
Purple.
Purple, because
It's just royalty.
say less. Favorite word?
No.
Took you time to learn how to say that?
No.
Really? People ain't really good at saying no. We try to appease people most of the time, and so we say yes. Mm-hmm. You have no problem with that. I'm glad you say yes to be up here. Favorite person?
My mama.
Can't question that. Favorite book?
The Bible.
Okay, can't question that. What or whom inspires you the most?
Right now, my children.
Absolutely. I dig it. Any particular reason why? They just seeing them as they grow?
Just because I do it for them right now. So, yeah.
All right. Favorite food?
Favorite food would be, I love Italian food.
Okay. Food place?
I don't have a particular food place that I love. I just like quiet, kind of sexy spots, though.
Okay. I can dig it.
That with good food.
If you could have a conversation with any person, dead, live, who would that person be?
Prince.
Cannot even question that. I feel. What would you think be your first question to Prince?
Just his thoughts on all of this, the music now.
Okay. I dig it. When's the last time Leela James cried?
This morning.
Happy cry? I love you. You're like, I'm going to let y'all work that one out. Guilty pleasure.
Reality shows.
Really? I wouldn't imagine that.
I know.
I wish y'all could see her face when she answers some of this stuff. All right. Childhood celebrity crush.
Childhood celebrity crush. Y'all probably won't remember him. He was the guy in Last Dragon, the movie Last Dragon.
Light-skinned dude, the lead actor, and I can't remember his name.
I think it's Timex or something.
Wow. Okay, I did it. Okay. Biggest risk Leela James ever took?
Moving to New York.
Paid off?
Yeah. Gotta take a risk.
Best compliment you've ever received? And you get so many, but what's the one that it really, really touched you? Didn't see it coming?
James Brown calling me the goddaughter of soul.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you remember where you were at when he did that?
Germany.
And he just came up to you and said
We
that?
did a show. We had a show. I was opening for him backstage, and he was just saying that he liked what I was doing at that time, and I had to keep this soul thing alive. It's the younger generation. I like what you're doing. You're just a goddaughter soul. And I was like,
okay,
yeah.
I love it. All right, last thing that made you laugh hard, good laugh.
I love comedy, so I'll watch comedy shows over and over. And I was watching Bridesmaids again on the plane on a recent flight, and it's like I've seen it a million times, but it's just so silly. It's such a funny movie.
I'm not good at watching movies over and over.
I love comedy, so I can watch it.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Know it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I still feel the same way. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm learning some stuff. Stranded on the island. One song, one person. Never getting off the island, whatever.
That's a toughie. I don't know. I can't call that one.
She can't call it? Okay, we're going to pass. All right. Favorite song of all time?
I don't know. I have a lot of songs, but I really... That's not an easy one because I like a lot of songs. But I do love After the Dance, Marvin Gaye.
I dig that. And your favorite Leela James song?
That's hard too. I like my current single. Look at what you done now. I Want You. So yeah, don't ask me my favorite.
Okay, I ain't gonna ask you. I ain't gonna ask you. All right, y'all. It's Leela James with baby girl in the background over there throwing up the hand saying, "What's up?" I appreciate her being here. We're gonna have you up here again.
Thank you.
All right. I'm not gonna bother you too much, but I really want to do this because I just got love for Leela James, and I got the opportunity to be here now. So one of the first things I wanted to do is have you on the air with me. So I appreciate it. I appreciate your time because I know you crazy busy. I knew you just flew in last night, and your kids over here like, hey, no, I want mommy time. So I really appreciate you coming here. Thank you so much. Okay?
Thank you for having me.
Yes, ma'am. The West Side's or South Central's own. By way of H-Town?
Yeah.
I'm going to call it the way I see it. She's been here for a good minute, so.
Best of both worlds.
Yeah, so.
Gemini.
Oh, we was in here talking about signs earlier, y'all, because she's.
Tex West.
She's a Gemini, and I don't even know, are you into signs and all that kind of stuff? You believe in any of that stuff?
I'm not going to say I believe in everything, but I see the characteristics.
The basics
yeah,
of the person. Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. So we was talking about signs a little bit, and then I don't know what was going on, but I told y'all I was a Pisces, and she was like, yeah. She was like, who you know that's a Pisces that made you go,
Couple people, it don't even matter.
I'm gonna apologize for those people because I know what that meant, and I'm sorry for those people.
They sorry too.
All right. So here we are with Leela James. I'm glad we had a chance to talk about the Grammys. We now know that this is not something that's important to you. What about the music industry is important to you?
Well, I wouldn't say that.
I mean, you like if they give you one, you taking it for sure.
I think everyone wants to be appreciated.
Yes, ma'am.
And everyone, artists in general or athletes, people. They do things because, athletes, I guess they want to go to the Super Bowl or they want to win a championship.
Absolutely.
I think artists are no different. If they're doing things and they feel like it's of quality, of course they want it to be recognized and credited. You want to get the accolade or just be celebrated by your peers. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm saying that's not the whole basis of everything for me. And I'm grateful for the other rewards that come with doing this, which is the people that show up to your shows, the people that, take time out of their time to tell you how much you mean to them, how you saved my life. Those things are motivating too, and that's a reward. And just there's certain things you can't physically touch, but you can feel. So when you can feel the love of the people and make the people feel your love, that's like huge. But again, that doesn't take anything away from the tangible accolades of what can come with any industry in terms of being credited where credit is due. But I just don't think it's the full motivation, not at least for me.
Yes, ma'am. How do you, because, you brought your daughter with you. It is hard to be, in my opinion, not just in the entertainment industry, but to be a woman in the entertainment industry and everything that goes along with that. As you said earlier, being a single mom. How hard is that? Because you got to go on the road. Got to go on the road. Because that's, the bread and butter. Got to do stuff like this. You don't got to, but, it helps out. It don't hurt for sure. How do you balance that? Have kids and, children. They got to have their time. Because I'm sure your kids, they don't acknowledge Leela James, the performer.
No,
you
my
just
kids
mama.
are very disrespectful. At least one of them.
So how do you balance that though? It has to be very, very hard.
It's
like I said, they
very
all
hard.
want their time, especially with the kids. They want their time, and
it's very challenging, and they do require, especially when they start to get older. It's a little more challenging to balance everything because you want to give up yourself, to your kids. And then you're also trying to find time for yourself. So for the most part, I'm figuring it out every day as I go. And through the grace of God, that's all that I can do is do the best that you can do. There's no, book,
no, ain't no blueprint, no,
for parenting.
For sure.
You know, but what I tell myself, you know, when I'm having a hard day, or I'm just like, I think of all the women before me that did it, and that are doing it, and so I know that it can be done. I just have to find my way that day, and every day that you survive, you live another day to try to get it and just keep going. So that's all.
I dig it. Do they understand who their mother is?
Do you?
Her first response was, well.
Yeah.
Well.
I mean, I think because
she's old enough now. How old
she's starting.
12? Okay.
Yeah.
So she knows you're a superstar.
What's interesting is that she's been kind of like on my back. I remember coming here years ago, and she was a little toddler. I have a picture of her at the old station.
Wow.
And I had her on the mic, and she's like, eh. Now she's like, whatever.
I'm too cool for the room.
Yeah. But like I kind of keep my kids away from it for the most part.
I dig it.
You know, one or two things, but for the most part, they so when they don't see, it's kind of like all they see is me in sweats half the time, and you know, we're just grocery shopping. So yeah, like I'm nobody. And then if they catch something, a photo or see something online, oh yeah, that's my or you know, if I bring them to something like this, I think then it's a reminder. But for the most part, you know, we live a really simple.
That seems really important to you. You like very. There was some point somewhere in your life where, you know what, I think it would be, I want to make sure my kids have a normalized life. I want to have somewhat, it's hard, but I want to have somewhat of a normalized life too. I think if I'm here, that can happen. That sounds like this is where I'm at. And this is, because I would think that it was kind of hard to do music on the level that you're doing it. It's kind of hard to do it where everything is New York or LA.
Yeah, and again, I grew up in LA and I lived in New York. So I tell my kids all the time, like, everything you be trying to do, been there, done that. Like you know what I mean? Like, I lived in the fastest of cities.
Yeah, no doubt.
You know what I mean? And I grew up in a time where things was, you know what I mean, what they make movies about, i.e. Boys in the Hood.
That's right.
So coming here was a breath of fresh air. It's like they don't know, my kids don't know what certain things is, you know, like waking up and hearing helicopters over your house. Like I'm like, you got you a suburb kid. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you have it good. Mm-hmm. Appreciate that. And then my intentions was to try to, before I knew I would have a family, I knew that's what I wanted to do. Now, stuff didn't work out, but I always like, yeah, I want the white picket fence. I want the horse. I used to want to live way out wherever so I could literally be on the farm. I thought, you know, I was going to grow old with my dude or whatever, or a dude, and just, you know what I'm saying, and just have a really simple life, but that happened to be also a singer. But like, I love the idea of family and, you know, marriage and all that stuff. So it made sense to live at that time for me in a place where I felt like was a family-oriented environment.
I got you. I dig it. Leela James, I appreciate you being out here. We're gonna talk some more about your music too. I want to get into your head about your music and your process. But we'll do that next right here on Majic 102.1.